Hi, everybody. My name is Bruce Lombardo, and we are going to be discussing some D&D-like games today, or D&D-inspired work today. And I'll show you how I found it. Republic whiskey, Texas whiskey. Cheers to all of you. All right, let's get started. StreamYards has changed things. All right. This is what we're looking at today, Dungeons and Delvers Core Rules. I found out last stream it's a 515 page book. I found it by going to BG Emporium, a wonderful BG or BigGeekEmporium.com. BigGeekEmporium.com. And the way I found it was I looked for this guy named David Guile. And he's pretty cool. He's got some stuff out there. So this is his material he has. Sundered World, Treasure Vault, Sundered World Player Fragments, DM screen for Dungeon World, Dungeons and Delvers Dice Pool, and a core rulebook. All right. So I went on their site, bought the book, and the reason why I bought it from them is that I know Joe and Randy. I have an idea that they are really down-to-earth men. They're down-to-earth fellows that they know what they want from an RPG. So let us begin. Oh, and I want to say congratulations to BG Emporium, Big Geek Emporium. You guys have been made a lot of mentions in the indie sphere of RPG books and their authors. Hold on. I've got to do testing here. Hello? Okay. This was back here. So maybe you guys can hear me better now. Okay. That's a boomer alert. Okay. So here we go to page to races. Page 16, I believe. Nope, that's too much. All right. Oh. Here we go. Now it's working. Last episode, and I've been reading this all up. I'm not going to re-record it. This was an interesting race. We had the Isham. Out of the first few races, the Isham are like the least powerful angels. I really thought that was cool. And I think people that are looking for a game that gives them something different, you're going to find that this game will give you plenty different. Hold on. I like that. The fact that it gives you half celestials or partial celestials. Kobolds are like halflings. And here we stopped. Kitherian. Shortly after the Chthons were hewn and instilled with life, and the machine titan, I'm not going to pronounce that, saw what his kin had wrought and decided his hand at crafting a race of his own, having only reshaped metal and forged weapons. The first attempt was a legion of sentient war machines made from increasingly more durable materials. These machines are believed to have been sealed away in an ancient vault and forgotten. The second attempt were the Catherians. Okay, so a game point or a plot point for a further adventure, one of the first campaign arcs you can do is look for their first creation. Unlike the first legions, the Catherians were not intended to primarily to fight. They were capable of independent thought and self-replication, a process requiring specific components and extensive knowledge to perform. It's dearly guarded to prevent other races from discovering it and abusing the ability to create sentient machine life. The first generation were a race of golden machines carefully assembled from seamlessly jointed plates and intricate arrangements of gears, cogs, and springs. But after a great cataclysm, were forced to repair themselves and construct new Catherians from comparatively cruder metals as iron, steel, even copper. And here we go, the machine men. Okay, that's kind of cool in a Ray Bradbury sort of way. Yeah. Okay. They're more or less humanoid in appearance and stand as tall. Each one is crafted by hand in an unpredictable and painstaking process. Their faces can have any number of eyes, aside from which they might be blank, have a single frozen expression, or have intricate parts that give them moving mouths. They can make them tougher than other races, and their machine minds calculate information more quickly than most. Though immune to the rigors that plague living creatures, unlike Cthulhu, they lack the inherent ability to heal. They have to be repaired by hand. So they're mediums, like humans. Get a +1 con or intelligence. Machine body cannot be affected by healing magic or alchemical potions that are not specifically intended to work on constructs. There's a spelling error for you there, David. Intended to work on constructs. Intended to work on constructs. You're disabled when reduced to 0 WPs, wound points. But do not make stabilization checks after each round. As long as your engine, the object housing your mind, is still intact, you can be repaired by somebody else. When you regain consciousness, you don't roll on lingering injury table. So you come back and you're just like, zip, 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 I'm ready to go. You still possess vitality points. That's superficial damage, easily repaired. And your internal components suffer minor stress and overheating. With enough time, you can effect repairs using a medium or heavy armor kit to repair with. During a long rest, you gain will points or wound points equal to your level plus intelligence without having to utilize anything. You function and everything knits back together. That's kind of cool. If you have suitable materials, you can spend 10 minutes and 10 SP worth of materials to restore a D4 wound points. Okay. So as long as you have the silver to basically smelt between your fingertips and time on your hands, you can fix yourself. Machine mind, you get a +1 bonus in saves, versus charms, fear, mind control, and similar effects. You're immune to poison, disease, and you don't need to sleep, eat, or breathe. So you are basically walking around wearing a ring of sustenance because you're a machine. You're immune to harmful effects that can change your body unless they also specifically work on constructs. Your base speed's 30 feet, so you're faster than most humans. You can read and write in both Common and Catherian, binary. Another race, the Tarkan, are imposing humanoids that possess draconic features, spontaneously formed from intermingled blood, spilled by both God and primordial during an ancient war long forgotten. This kind of gives me Scarred Lands feelings. Ooh. Okay. Born from conflict, their bodies literally burn with elemental fury that they eagerly seek to loose upon their foes. Their toughness is comparable to dwarfs with an inherent resistance to heat. Tarkans can also be quite strong, possess an active, almost instinctive knowledge of weaponry, and such Tarkans are great warriors. I feel like Jim Gaffigan could say it. Such Tarkans are often great warriors, and they like bacon. However, regardless of the path they choose, they are capable of mastering weapons in a fraction of the time it would take others to do so. So they're fighters. They're quick to anger, and once their fury is stoked, they can only be quenched through defeat of either themselves or the offending party. This does not need to result in a death, though often it does. The quickest way to earn a Tarkan's respect and even friendship is to best it fairly in combat. Interesting. Here's a Tarkan, which doesn't look like a machine person, but it looks kind of like, ew. And David told me not to worry about the smoky eye makeup on some of the other characters. It's just the drawing art style. Shh, Bryce, stop being a dick. All right, stop being a dick. Those capable of tempering their fury have a much easier time interacting with others, although this is akin to teaching an elf to act without thinking or a dwarf to abstain from labor for a prolonged period of time. Even so, time and effort required to teach Tarkan restraint could easily pay dividends in the short run. Due to their violent nature, they're usually viewed with fear and suspicion. A village or city with little to no knowledge will likely react with fear, attacking or driving the Tarkan away. Those familiar with them will require them to relinquish all weapons and armor as a safety precaution. Safety timeout! Safety timeout! People dying all over. Safety timeout! I got my X card. Most likely will still keep a close eye on the Tarkan and their allies for the duration of their stay. Some main names. Racial features. They're mediums. +1 con or strength or charisma. +1 con no matter what. Strength or charisma is an option. They get a +1 bonus to intimidate. They have a breath weapon. They breathe gouts of flame, affect a 15-foot cone. They have to succeed on a dex save or suffer fire damage. It grows as that you get up in level. They can spend a skill point to become proficient with 2 basic weapons or a single advanced weapon. You have fire resistance 5. Your base speed's 30 foot. You can read and write basic language and Tarkan. They're limited to breathing fire because of their violent origin. If you want to change it to something else, and it could be easily lend itself to something like a Storm Tarkan, become more in line with draconic races and other D20 RPGs, and let them choose from a variety. That's easy to do. Fire resistance goes in something else, and breath weapons damage type. Though in case of lightning, I make a 30-foot line. Thank you, David. That's all the races. Here's the classes. This might be a fast video. The most important choice you'll make about your character, particularly at the start of the game, is your class is essentially a profession that represents the culmination of training, experience, or both over the years. Each class is generalized archetype like warrior or wizard, depending on class feature and talent choices. They are used to depict various concepts. You can either be like a master swordman or a deadly archer as a fighter. Wizard could be on destructive magics, but rely on more subtle enchantments or illusions, or a mix of all three. Your class probably should influence your character's appearance and personality. They have the Scars of Many Complex for benefits, and for benefits reasons. 12 classes are presented in this book, but check with your GM if in case they are not permitted and are utilizing any house rules. Okay. Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, and Rogue. Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Okay. So, with this, we have an opening into the mind of David, and he looks like he's kind of going into that Pathfinder-esque, veering in towards 50 a little bit, and grabbing the warlock and making sure the witch is happy and all that stuff. The classes look really good. I'm not going to lie. The class selection looks fine. Still not sold on the 13 to 15, 16, 17, and the 18 for the dice bonuses, but whatever. It'll work. This is a short video. That's fine. I didn't want to have a super long video. I was going to go for 40 minutes maybe, but I think I'll keep the races paired up like this, and then I'll go maintain my YouTube channel and get the playlist set up. And I hope the majority of you have a great night. For those of you that drive slow in front of me in traffic, I can't wait for your foot to fall off.